Oh shit. That was close. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, I am. Let me see. How do I want to do this? How do I do this? I'm gonna do this one more time. This is gonna be the last time. This is gonna be the last time I talk about this. Um, because once again, I am what they call like a silent lads player. I'm not trying to be talking about this game forever. It's um, it's a good game. I love the game. I loved the game. Uh, so before I talk about my personal feelings, yesterday I started off talking about my personal feelings. Today I'm going to start off talking about what we know, what we think are facts, and what's going on next. Now, I'm going to keep this stream short. We ain't got all day. I'm on here late. I just really wanted to make sure I got everything off my chest. And I would also like to switch to focus on Rivals drama instead. So there's a couple of things that we know. And some of them, this is part of the reason this requires nuance. There is a disconnect between cultures, with Western cultures or global player cultures, and the homegrown culture for paper games. Most of the players of Love and Deep Space and most of the whales of Love and Deep Space are in mainland China, and the game is the game is made by a Chinese company. Luckily for players, the game was the people who made the game, the majority of the staff, writing staff and design staff, when the game launched, was female. Was one of their female. I said female. Fuck the patriarchy. Sorry. Was women, right? So the majority of the staff was women. I got distracted by my own fucking gameplay. The majority of the staff was women. The writers, the directors, the idea peoples. It was a good split, about 50% women, and people who were just fucking passionate about making good video games. And who were like, you know what? There's an untapped market. There are not enough video games for women. Yay. We know this. Was part of their marketing campaign, even for people who were not into Otome games. They were like, y'all not being respected just because you're women. You deserve to have you deserve thirst traps, you deserve good gameplay, well-written story, and we're going to give that to you for the next 10 years in Deep Space Welcome to Lincoln City. We know that as a fact. We also know that in China, even Americans know in China for a long time there was kind of a one-child policy, which clearly is not the truth, is not a fact anymore. But we also know is a cultural norm, not just in China, that male children were preferred. So women who were part of families, women did what they had to do. We know that women did what they had to do. Sometimes that meant giving up female children. Sometimes it meant just trying to make sure that you only had boys. So right now, and I'm not judging, I don't care how you did it, There are people who specialize in documentaries on that, and those people are not me. Like, I'm sure I could look it up and give you a huge conversation about what was happening in China at the time. It's not like it's some big secret. Everybody kind of knows that male children were more valued than female children. And there's also more men in China than there are women. But the Chinese government and some of these media and the Chinese media outlets were trying to convince women. So basically, they went out of their way to pay for women to become college educated and good wives, good wife material to meet men. And then they shamed these women for being over the age of 25 and unmarried. And I don't remember the exact term for it, but there was a term for people, for women who, as they got older, were like undesirable because they were old and educated. And one of the cool things about China is a lot of women took that term back, and it's very hard to control the women. And a lot of women are deciding not to get fucking married and not to get married in China because why would I marry these dudes? And I feel like this also happens in other countries. It's not just China, where where female children are devalued in favor of male children. And so male children who are babied, and no, how do I say this? Male children who are not taught to be fully functional, independent people, they are taught to find a wife to handle half of their life for them. And a lot of women are just kind of opting out of that, right? Especially in China. Like, there's a huge wave of women who are just like, we don't want to get married. And there's almost as many men in China who are also kind of like, we don't want to get married. Because we don't want to get married because I don't necessarily need someone to just take care of my house. And I want to live happily, and I don't want to be forced into a marriage just cuz. And yay for China. They're kind of just doing that because that's just kind of the natural thing. If you devalue half of the population, they're not going to want to do shit for you. And so I kind of get it. The bad part is that just like men feel entitled to stuff, some of these women feel entitled to stuff too. And I think that some of these women, extreme cases of these women who are like, I'm never going to get married, they relish in otome games. I think so. This is now we're in the hypothetically, it's possible that there are groups of women who are just kind of like, I'm gonna fall in deep to this otome. I need to put my Spotify thing in here. That's what I need to do. So I think that is a possibility. Some of these women are like, I ain't never getting married. These men suck. I want no parts. So what I'm gonna do is, if I could, I'll play video games instead, right? And that's where I'm kind of like, that seems like it makes me wonder, like, are these some of these people those like that, are they choosing to play, I put the wrong thing in here, didn't I? Oh no, I didn't. Are they choosing to get attached to virtual people instead of human companionship? And I'm like, it's a possibility. So that's something to think about, right? We've got a whole slew of women who are probably between the ages of like 25 and 35 who are just like, fuck these dudes. I'll go get a vibrator. I'm sorry, a massager. And I'll read romance novels, or I'll read manga, or I'll play Love in Deep Space. I don't need these dudes. I'm not trying to be these guys' waifu. You know, I don't want them to sit here and tell me how ugly I am. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to make money. I'm going to have my own apartment. I'm going to not go into debt. I'm going to I'll take care of my family, but I don't want to move into some dude's house and become his family's elder care professional and also somebody's mother, right? So I'm kind of like, I wouldn't put it past. So now we're into speculation land. It wouldn't put it past women who are going through that to develop parasocial relationships with video game characters. Now, do I think that is Love and Deep Space fans? Probably not. I think it's an interesting thing to keep in mind when we're talking about cultural differences and behaviors when it comes to parasocial relationships. I think that some of that devaluing of women in a lot of cultures, like I said, it's not just Asian. Like, let's not even front like it's just Asia. It is everywhere. There's a lot of cultures or facets of cultures that devalue women and but want to educate them to make them better wives. And that like and like women will take advantage of that education and still be like, but fuck you. And even women who don't take advantage of that education most of them are eventually like, but fuck you. So I think it is a possibility that there's a small group of women who are in probably towards the closer to like the 40s age, who are probably really into Love and Deep Space, who are using them to not engage with men because the men in their age group suck that bad. So I'm going to put that out there. And that can be a group of people who like Love and Deep Space. This is a possibility and nuance. But that is something to keep in mind when you are thinking about demographics in other countries that I don't think people are taking into account. Next thing, for people who don't know, is that today? I think it was today. Today was Founders Day. It's probably tomorrow, but today is Founders Day, in China, and this is a very big political holiday. It's a national holiday, and I believe that most people in China are off today and they're celebrating. So let's talk about Founders Day and Valko and some bullshit. Valko having drama around his storyline is not only not quite correct, but it is also a symptom of something else, right? People were not happy with Valko and the way he looked when he was announced. Oops, that is me talking. And they wasn't happy with him when he was announced. And people were kind of, when that happened and they saw how quote unquote Western he was, people were going out of their way to make uh make Infold change him, right? Don't release him, change him, make him not as Western, make him lighter skinned, I guess. I'm just kind of like, I do not understand. Like Valko wasn't even as dark skinned as like some Asian people, right? Like, how dare you erase half of Asia and say that this man is dark? This man was not dark. Anyway, that's beside the point. Dark themes, but he was not. Some of these people were racist. Um. So anyway, there were a bunch of people who were like, we need to do everything in our power to make sure that they don't release Valko because we hate him and we don't want him in our game, which is dumb. But I think that there were people who had been. So I think that they went into the game and they searched everywhere they could to find something that was offensive politically that they could use against Infold and Paper Games to pressure them to either stop, not release to Falco, or to ruin the company as a whole. So that would be the world beneath thing with the World War II reference. Um, and I get it, like that's culturally insensitive. You should be avoiding doing that. Um, right? If this is if it's something that's like, I know it seems un unnecessary or over the top, but one thing that everyone should have is like the instant you smell some BS like that, you need somebody to get in there. You need to shut it down, turn it off for a moment, and get somebody in there and do some Google foo. Like Google foo. Make sure your shit is tight. Because, especially if you want to stay in business and you want to do all your stuff. Right. So, it was time for some Google foo. And I think that's stupid. I do think that there were people who went out of their way to dig through and find something, anything they could to pressure Infold to stop Falco's release. And then I also think that they're the catty bitches. Here's the catty bitches, and I didn't know about this yesterday, and this is I was out here um defending China and the Chinese girls yesterday and trying to give them the benefit of the doubt and the nuance and everything. But anyone, how dare you call someone else dirty if you literally pick up feces and deliver it to someone else? I'm sorry. That's like, how dare you say that someone is dirty or they look dirty because they are dark while you are literally holding shit? So, and here's the thing. I know we want Infold to be strong, but I don't think anyone can be strong when someone drops off Dookie at your doorstep. I can't be mad at them for suddenly being like, we're canceling this. Because that's terrifying. Like, some girls were so crazy that they dropped off Dookie at, like, who does that? Who drops off? Who touches poop? That's not even a joke. You're calling other people dirty and touching poop. Respect equals lost. So I'm just gonna say I'm sorry. I should have looked into this more deeply. I did not realize that there was a poop war going on and people were dropping off poop at Infold. And the other thing, people were dropping off or sending funeral funeral arrangements and uh, funeral flowers and funeral arrangements and curses to these people. That's terrifying. If someone showed up at my place of work, in my office, and dropped off basically a kill yourself letter to my whole team, I would be afraid for my life. I'm sorry. And the thing is that even in Western games, Western games deal with that a lot more. Like, I know we like to act like Info, like these girls are crazy and this is weird. But it's not that weird. People show up. Like, there's a reason that places like Blizzard are on lockdown. People show up and act crazy in front of video game developer locations. As much as I would hope that women were better than that for the greater good of all mankind, this isn't weird. And it sucks that it's not weird. But it also is kind of like, people get pressed over pixels for games, for all games, for all video games. I'm putting the music on. Hold on. We want to listen to the hot tunes, right? So I would like to thank Mikkel, who has been making music. Let me give a quick shout out. Mikkel got into making music in 2008, and we're going to be listening to his 2018 Zelda and Chill lo-fi hip-hop cover album, which is Ballers. And I also want to say thank you to him, and I hope his career is doing well, and I appreciate that he has made this non-copyright. If I am incorrect, but it's listed on a non-copyright and a chill non-copyright playlist. So I'm going to start off with the second track on the album called Dark World as we talk about dark shit. And you guys will let me know, of course, if you can't hear it. It'd be awesome if freaking sound was working. Now I could have sworn. Let me know if you can hear it or if you can't hear it. Oh. Or if it's too loud or whatever. Just let me know. Dookie! Hi! Hi, Hagers. Yes, I'm talking about Dookie. And I'm mad about it. I'm mad that I have to talk about Dookie right now. I can't believe these lovely ladies dropped off Dookie at someone's place. Well, Blizzard deserves it. I'm not gonna say. It's unfortunate that Blizzard fell off as a company. Like, I don't play Blizzard shit anymore if I can help it. And Blizzard does deserve people coming there to protest, right? But Blizzard was getting shit anyway for other stuff. And it's scary when people show up at your place of business because they're mad. Most people will protest peacefully. Some people will just drop Dookie off. Some people will drop Dookie off at your place of business and expect you to capitulate to their demands. And it sucks. Like, what's going on with LaDS sucks. So I apologize to the folks who were pissed off at the ladies in China for being immature, because that was fucking immature. Like, Info didn't deserve that. For all the things that they do deserve, releasing a character that's kind of mid is not a reason to drop Dookie off at someone's place of business and tell them to kill themselves. And there it is. That's my not so hot take. There's my lukewarm take. And that is a fact. That is a fact that happened. We all know it happened. We also know that because of the social media thing, that most of that there was a wave of complaining people who went out of their way to contact the Chinese news agency and make sure that Love and Deep Space and Infold were reported specifically around this time for, for the World War II number reference. And it's frustrating because that number reference has been in the game since April, and no one said anything. So people were clearly mining the game looking for... Gotcha fans are pretty crazy. Well, I mean, listen. Gamers are pretty crazy. You know, that's what's frustrating about this to me. I play a lot of video games, not just Love and Deep Space. And this kind of stuff that's happening as Love and Deep Space isn't surprising to me because I play Dead by Daylight. And I play Marvel Rivals. And I used to play Smite. And I used to play League of Legends. And so I'm just kind of like, I know for people who only play Atomi games and people who only play gacha games, their mind is blown because in their tiny little community up until now, people have been unhinged. But the reality is that this happens with idols, with pop stars, with K-pop stars. It happens with video games. And it happens with, like, fandoms, right? Like, let's not front. People who make a fandom their entire identity is not unique to gacha games. Maybe the poop thing is unique to gacha games, but not people who make their fandom their entire identity. So anyway, so that's I went on a tangent on that one. Poop thing is fucked up. It's fucked up that they went out of their way to mine this just to fuck the company over on such an important holiday in China, so that they had to basically deal with it by Founders Day, because no one wants that. right? And I'm not the only one who thought this. We're going into the world of speculation. To link with the topic, the other topic, people really get attached to the game's characters. It's true, but it's not just games. Like, yes, people get the thing about Love and Deep Space is people get attached to those characters, and those characters are designed for you to get attached to them, right? They're super. It's an Otome style gotcha game. Otome game. They are designed for you to fall for them. And the good thing about Love and Deep Space that Love and Deep Space has over a lot of gotcha games and Otome games is the amount of customizations and how they respected, or at least they started from the beginning, respecting the character by making it an actual video game. Like some Otome games, they're more like visual novels, which is fine. And some are like, we have combat, where it's basically like a card collector. Like you collect the cards, and they're cards and they're pictures of pretty dudes, and then you throw them at each other, and then you always win unless you draw. And that's kind of boring. And that's a game that is very accessible to a lot of people, so it's nice. And you get to make decisions where you pick the the route you go, and you can play it over and over again, and you can play different things, like the Aiight series. It's one of the ones I'm most familiar with. Most of the other ones that are popular either were never localized or were not localized really well, so I was like, I'm gonna finish this one series and then I'll go back to them. But they were all kind of like boring, and they all have mid reviews. And part of the reason that LaDS is so cool is because I can fight. Like, yeah, they have the girly shit, like they have the I say girly shit like it's a bad thing. They have stuff in here that's very much more social. Like you can hang out with these dudes and and play like card games with them, and go to, how do you say, what are they called? You can basically go to the arcade with these dudes, and you can get claw machines. You can play claw machines with these guys, and they all have their own personality as they play claw machines with you. And like that doesn't appeal to me because I did just play claw machines in real life, right? They have like a home system, and that you can play house with these dudes. And I'm like, that doesn't appeal to me because I have a house in real life that I decorate. Like I have decorated to blah blah blah. But I didn't like go on a boycott of the game because I wasn't interested. So that's that. The behavior of the Chinese girl is, when it came to this new love interest, was shameful, and they should be embarrassed. You did a bad thing and you should be bad. You should feel bad. I feel like originally Broface was a scapegoat. So I'm going to reiterate something I said yesterday. There are people who were really into this game and the main story. And the main story kind of lost. So like me, for an example, I'm talking from personal experience now. The main story, I was really into the main story when I started playing this game. And I started playing this game right after Silas dropped. And I was really into it. And then it just kind of, I don't know what happened. So I was really into it, and then it took so long. Oh, that's kind of what happened. It took so long for the next main story entry to happen. I was like, I don't care about this anymore, right? Because when we get cards, the gacha mechanic is, like, I read all the lore, I did all the world beneath, I was super excited to do the fights, and then I got to a point and I was like, where's the rest of the story? And it's like, well, it's coming soon. And another love interest is coming soon. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna bide my time and play all these little tiny things. Like, I'm gonna play these little submissions, and then they had all these cards, these alternate universe cards drop. These alternate universe storylines drop. And you could follow your favorite dude, the dude who you like the most. And I was kind of like, by the time the last two main storyline... Yeah, the story just takes too long to develop. And it's not worth playing again. The storyline is well written, but it's not so good that it's worth playing again because it's kind of depressing. That's the joke, right? The people who play the game, it's love and depression, not love and deep space. It's depressing. So I was like, after the last two storylines were so okay, that I was like, I don't give a shit about the main storyline anymore. I just want to get cards and I want to do battles. I want to see cute vignettes and with the guys I like, and I would prefer not to have to see them in YouTube. But I'm not. If I can't see them, I'll just watch them on YouTube. And I want to fight. Like, I want to do the battles. I enjoy doing the battles. I like doing some of the seasonal mini games. Like, they have mini games that are like, sometimes mini games are match 3. Some of the mini games are like more interactive claw machines. So I was like, this is fun to me. The main story is no longer fun to me. Even I'll engage with it, I'll finish it because it's a video game that I would like to eventually beat. But the way the main story was going kind of felt endgame. And I was like, this is weird for me because they said this video game was going to be like 10 years long. And when I started playing it was only 2 years old at that point. Maybe a year and a half. I don't remember. And I was like, this feels weird. I was like, this feels like, especially the last chapters, it feels like this game is almost over. Like, what the hell is happening here? And also, I don't want to play the main storyline anymore. It's too much. Like, I'm happy for everyone who's enjoying it. I'm doing it because I like fighting. I'm just kind of like skipping. I'm kind of going through the motions, listening to it. When really what I want to do is I want to do the fights. And I'm enjoying the cards because they're like, each card is like an alternate timeline. But it really did make me feel like the main storyline feels like it's moving towards endgame, and all I want to do in the endgame is beat the shit out of the big bad, and I want to stomp on his face. I say his. It's a company, but I want to beat the shit out of the big bad, and I want to stomp on their faces. And then when they announced the big update for this half of the year was going to be a new love interest, I was just kind of like, I feel like this is not a good idea. Like, it had been teased for months and people are kind of interested, but it didn't have like true hype. Like I've known since December that the next love interest was going to be a redhead werewolf dude, and at the time I was like, I don't think that I'm okay with that. I don't think that that's a good idea. And I understand there's stuff about the game that I was not paying attention to because I didn't care. So how you boost your battle is like each dude has a color and they have a foil, a character foil. But like I said, I was so like, I have drama in my real life. I was kind of turned off enough by the main storyline that I wasn't really doing it because I enjoyed it. I was mostly there for the cards and the fights. But I get it. There's an entire color missing in their battle system that another love interest should be filling that. And I was just like, I don't care. And when they announced it, it had been leaked, and then they finally announced it, I was just like, okay. Well, I really wish that they had done something different with their big, reveal for this part of the year. I don't care about the home system. I'm not super excited for another love interest. The game needs to be rebalanced for the 5 motherfuckers we have, and I feel like we're missing story content, even if it's just alternative timeline story content. Like, these dudes don't have enough content for me to give them a second chance outside of the bad impression I have of them. And that was me personally. So I was just like, I don't care about Valko. And people were like, I hate Valko, and I was like, I guess. And that's just it. There's a group of people who kind of play like me, but obsessive. Like, they are mad because, one, either they like a character who's being neglected, or they don't give a shit about the main storyline, and they just want cards with their dudes. And what's going to happen if they... Because what Infold is failing at right now is proper content for what people want to engage in instead, and what they're doing is they're providing content that's easy to maintain instead of what people really want. And one of the things people do want is another love interest, but there's a fear that it's going to be at the cost of their current love interest, and the game is not going to be balanced now that there are 6 dudes that you have to pull gotcha for. And it's not. The game was not balanced well when the 5th one came. And the writing's taken a dip, right? I like the writing for the most recent storyline adaptation, or storyline, is just bad. None of this excuses the behavior of the hate train, the vitriol, the racism, the homophobia, and the mailing of poop to a fucking someone's place of work. Like, can you imagine having a job where you're happy, you've been working on something for a year, and then because of management decisions, and shitty marketing, and not being able to read the room, a bunch of crazy bitches were pissed off, and then you go into work the next day and someone has dropped poop off at your desk, and then you're told, hey, we're gonna scrap all the work that you spent 60 hours a week on for the last year and a half. We're just gonna throw that shit in the trash. Like, that is heartbreaking. So yeah, I'm not down with the way what went down. On top of that, let's go back to some conspiracy theories. I'm not the only one who has this conspiracy theory, and I touched on this yesterday. Conspiracy theory number 1. There has always been a contingency of people who have tried to... what's a nice way to say this? To ruin paper games because they cater to women. Specifically, not paper games, but specifically Infold, who, because they cater to women. LaDS has had a target on its back for a long time. It doesn't necessarily mean that these are people in China. It doesn't necessarily mean that these are men. But there has been a contingency since people realize they are successful that has been trying to destroy this game. Whether it's by labeling it a gooner game to make it sound like the women who play it are degenerates by labeling it as a gooner game, or by ignorance, just being like, whatever, or if maybe it's sexism or self-hatred, who the fuck knows. So it does feel a little bit calculated how quickly this escalated. Paper Games is the company that owns Infold, so the game, it's the publishing house, right? And Infold is the developer, they're the publisher, so they own Infold. Paper Games owns Infold. So it's the Paper Games building. Infold has floors 1 through 15. I do have that right. Let me check I've been saying this forever. Paper Games. Paper Games. Yeah. Paper Games. Paper Games was founded in 2013, and they made a bunch of games like Love Nikki, or they made Love Nikki, and then they also made Infold. They're also the people who run Infold. You can kind of see it in the logos. What the heck? I accidentally closed my window, but that's fine. Paper Games and Infold are hand in hand. So if Paper Games is the publisher and Infold is then Infold, we should consider them the developer. So people have kind of always been shitting on Infold because they made these games for women. It was for women by women, and they were basically super successful. Like I said, it wasn't like 100% development studio of all women, right? It was maybe like technically 49% of the staff is women. And most of those are the writing staff and the programming staff. So it's just kind of like they made these games and they were super successful, and people were just like, no, you don't get to have nice things. You're a gooner, you're a bad person. Whatever excuse they had, you're toxic because you're obsessed with this game, blah 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 blah. Like people have been trying to tear this game down since fucking conception. So it does feel like it feels like people who know how to destroy games, or people who know how to create a narrative to get what they want, galvanized the most rabid and crazy of the fan base to act crazy, right? And basically screw over this character, because I think that's what it feels like. I don't have proof, but that's what it feels like, right? Like we can't have shit. We can't have anything. Like why do you guys give a shit about this dude? You know, plenty of people don't like the most recent love interests, and they don't act like this. And why were they being so racist? Why were they being so homophobic? It just feels so weird for it to be so intense so quickly. Like, bro was out, what, 7? We knew about him officially on the record 7 whole days before it was just like, nope, you can't have it. You can't have it. You've bullied them into submission. And not only have they been bullied into submission, and are they not going to be able to release this one random character, they're never going to release another love interest, which is fucking dumb. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Bah. Oops. I don't know. I feel really bad for them, and I'm really embarrassed. And I think that this was people who was a combination of rabid fans, and I do think it was a combination of people who wanted them to fail because they feel like we can't have nice things. On that note, let's talk about other games that are toxic, because apparently that's my thing. Apparently I like games with toxic player bases. What the hell? Like, really? What the hell? Or maybe I'll just talk about it tomorrow. It wasn't my intention to talk about Love and Deep Space for this long. I just wanted to say, throw a little bit more nuance on this. I think culturally that... Oh, hey, it's my Tales of Vesperia gameplay. Yay! I think culturally that it is easier in some cultures to... when you are the discounted party, to develop parasocial attachments to characters that are Yeah, every game has a toxic fan base. Like I said, this is kind of an extreme, but it's not that much of an extreme. So I think it is. Infold is really good at creating characters that provide the boyfriend experience, and they do a very good job at that. So if you are somebody who is coming from a culture where you are devalued on a regular basis and have to do everything in your power to fight that devaluation, I think you are more susceptible to being toxic about this kind of stuff. It is not okay. It will never be okay to send someone poop and tell them to kill themselves at their jobs. I'm not allowed to say that, am I? Tell them to self-harm or wish death upon them at their job. That is terrifying. And if I was Infold and people were showing up at my place at work and delivering poop to my employees, I also would have canceled this. I'd just be like, I'm out. My people's lives are in danger and their mental health is not worth your bullshit. I also think it is a little bit more insidious than a bunch of bitches who are upset about some guy who looks American or Western, American or British or French or whatever they think he looks like. I think that they were galvanized and weaponized to take this game down a peg, and it worked. I don't think that if they had naturally, and I part of the reason I say this is because even just kind of like in passing, like I'll watch a short YouTube video by people who are Love and Deep Space creators, and in almost every one I see the same copy pasta about how these are the things that the game did wrong, and this is why they needed to remove Valko. And it's like misinformation and half information. And it's the kind of shit I see in people's Dead by Daylight videos and in people's Marvel Rival videos. And like, you know what I mean? It's the same kind of behavior by somebody who just hates the game. Right? And they finally found something to be like, hey, this game is trash. This will get everyone on my side. So I'm just saying that there are some comments, and you can see some of them, they don't even change their counts, but it's the same copy pasted. This is why Valko is bad, and this is why they should have shut him down, and it's good that they canceled this character. I'm just kind of like, no. So that's, my observations, a little bit of fact, a little bit of history, and then a little bit of, hey, check yourself. You're not, like, nobody really owes you. And it sucks, right? I wish that people could be galvanized for the right things. Right? I wish that people were really into this. I wish that people could show this level of passion for something that's not Pixel Men. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think that the majority of the player base was kind of like, meh, he's fine. I'm not super interested. I would much prefer to have all this other stuff, right? I'd much prefer to have the game be balanced, to have more content for the new characters that are already here, to have a new mainline story entry. And then it was just kind of, but instead of listening to that, like, let's balance this because the game feels more expensive. There needs to be, serious changes to the code. And then your response to that is, here's another hot dude to take your money. And I was just kind of like, well, so people who were mad about the state of the game found an easy target in Valko, and for the people who already wanted to take the game down a peg, it was easy for them to galvanize those angry women to do crazy shit, especially around this time of year. That might be my hot take. But those, like, ladies, you should be smarter than that. That was fucking dumb. All right, we're gonna put that to the side. I'm done with Love in Deep Space. I'm never gonna talk about it in public again. Like, even if something crazy happens, I don't think I want to talk about Love in Deep Space ever again on stream. I want to keep the Love in Deep Space conversation in private with my friends and with my homies. But let's do a preview of what I would like to talk about tomorrow, which I probably won't talk about a lot because I do owe my homie some time to play video games, and I'm going to be exhausted. Like, I've been spending an hour a day cleaning my house. I'm so tired. That's why I've been getting on to stream so late, and I don't want to lose the muscles for streaming. And luckily, fucking this drama, now I have some shit to talk about for an hour and a half. But so I said cancel. Like, this thing is just like, I don't care if you said no, don't play this. I'm gonna play it anyway. Anyway, so Marvel Rivals drama. I'm actually not going to talk about what most people think I'm going to talk about. We all know what happened with the tournament, right? Or I think we know what happened with the tournament. And Marvel Rivals is definitely one of those things that has a toxic fan base. Let's not front. So there was a tournament, and the funny thing to me, here goes my hot take. Warren was an asshole. Aramari was trying to find her place in this tournament, right? She wanted to win. She doesn't want to be an asshole, but people give her shit if she's not an asshole, so she started being an asshole, and people are pissed off that she's being an asshole. Whatever. Here's the real thing. Warren was an asshole in this tournament. The tournament ends. J3 called him out on his bullshit. Bless you, J3. J3 called him out on his bullshit on Twitter and didn't say his name. J3 was like, the only drama I have with Marvel Rivals is how they can't optimize the game. What do you mean Well, yeah, I guess you're right. It's not optimized. I don't have as much of a problem with that because I play on console, so I'm fine. And I don't play on PS4. I play on PS5. Do I have it on PC? Yes, but I don't play it on. I don't play it on PC. I play it on PS5. I'm a console gamer at heart. That's more drama we'll get into on a different day. So Warren, one of the best Overwatch players currently, if not of all time, is playing this game. He basically pulls a Zaza and will only play his comfort character. And they lose, which is really upsetting because for a lot of the people, especially for Aramori, because she wanted to win. The people in the game didn't say a whole lot. They were all kind of like, we all got frustrated. We were a little sharp with each other. But J3 called him out. They called NetEase out, and he was like, "Listen, you guys keep throwing money at these tournaments." He played with his vibes on the line. He did. They were like, "Oh." So J3 came out and he was like, "Look, y'all keep having these tournaments and choosing large creators for the tournaments because you want new players and you want to make sure that you can get and keep players from other communities. So you have a mix of content creators who are really popular and people who actually play the game and people who play the game professionally." And that is shit. And you're not balancing these teams well. So when you have a World Cup for Marvel Rivals and there are a bunch of pros on the game with a bunch of people who play this game once a year because you're paying them to, you are asking for trouble. To that note, if you are going to accept the invite to be on one of these teams, to be in something like the World Cup of Rivals, Don't come in here for the vibes, especially if there's a $300,000 reward. Don't do it. You shouldn't. If you're gonna come in here, even if you may not need the money, if your team as a whole is like, we're not playing for the vibes, don't play for the vibes. The way our Marvel run was all suck. I never watched a single one that was actually good. I think there were a couple that were good. Like I think the Boger Bash was fun. But I mean, I not to glaze Boger too hard, but Boger is a fucking hero among men, so I enjoyed watching them play. And also, he managed that shit. Yeah, the game is very casual, right? That's part of the reason I like it. I don't actually like hero shooters. That's not true. I never liked Overwatch. I liked the hero shooter that Hi-Rez created, but I like Rivals because I want to play as Marvel characters. That's not front. And what's his name? If I want to play hard competitive, I play like a Deadlock or something. But I don't even touch ranked in Rivals. Right? I'm like, I don't need that heat. I would rather play Deadlock if I'm going to sweat and put all the effort in. Which is why I never play Deadlock during the week. Because I'm like, if I'm going to sweat, if I'm going to play Deadlock, I want to be well rested. I want to have game plans in mind. I want to make sure I'm up on the patch notes. But if I want to play Rivals, I want to play Quick Play or PvE. And I want to be fucking... And I want to be Wolverine for a minute. That's not true. And I want to be fucking Deadpool. Like, I'm sorry. I'm in Marvel Rivals to play as Deadpool. And I want to have the fucking hot skins. Like, give me that sexy Emma Frost skin. Yes, Deadlock is awesome. Deadlock is the game that I do homework for. Right? That's the game where I get in and I'm like, all right, how do I counter these characters? Let me see if I can watch some videos. Whose build do I want to try? Like, all this other stuff. That's like, Deadlock is where I go and when I play for real. Thank you, Valve. Not to glaze them super hard, but thank you, Valve. I will be playing Deadlock for my competitive itch. But anyway, so for Rivals, so there's this tournament and you know, the tournament ended. Nobody was really happy on Team Canada. They were all kind of like bummed out. Armari was really upset. And Doki was kind of like, Armari, you're kind of a bitch, but you know, we're still cool. And then, you know, Warren was kind of like, I'm special. So J3 got on Twitter and was like, put NetEase on blast and called Warren out without saying his name. And Warren responded. And basically shit on Aramori because Aramori was like, bro, you know, Jay, and Aramori was like, Jay did you the respect of not calling you out by name. You knew it was you. This is Twitter. This is not a conversation, please. You knew it was you. You suck. And I'm upset because we lost. I've never been on a team where that didn't suck. And you're one of the best DPS players in Overwatch, if not an all-time of Overwatch. And like they just went at it, right? And then on stream, Warren just shit-talked Doki Bird, Fan, and Armory, and then did it on Twitter. And it was just kind of like, wait a minute. How are you not talking shit to J3? Like, why are you going after your teammates? Like, it's their fault that you chose to play your comfort pick instead of what would have been best for the team, and also a character that you could have excelled at because you're very good with these types of characters. And I just kind of like, okay, that was a thing. But here's where, like, everybody knows, like, we're not drama farming Warren. But here's what's really funny. I was watching, I watched Doki's immediate response because I love Doki Bird. She's peak. And I watched some of her videos. But the drama for me comes in. Yeah, I mean, Doki, God bless Doki, because then she went and played, and somebody else was just a complete douchebag to her, and she finally crashed out, and it was valid, and bless her for not crashing out during the fucking tournament itself. And I'm pretty sure she and Aramori have an understanding right now. But also, fuck Warren. No, don't fuck Warren. Warren, just stay in Overwatch. It's fine. Just fuck off, bro. Like, it's not like just stay in Overwatch. You fine. But yeah. So I noticed that here's the thing that sucks. As a VTuber who is not an idol, right? I'm not an idol VTuber. I know that's not where I want to go, right? Like Mousy is, and she's a gamer, but she's an idol VTuber, right? There is an entire, how do you say? Sorry, I got a message. There's an entire content situation around VTubers, and some people are really good at getting at taking apart VTuber drama, right? So like, depending on what kind of sense of humor you have, right? So if you really want to get the unhinged shit, you hang out with Parrot in the mines. We go to the mines with Parrot a lot. And then there's like, if you like, I miss False. False is gone now. False was pretty good, but I just think he was over and had better opportunities. And then there's Mugen, who is, you know, got brought back down to earth after the Sukuna thing. Like, he got rocked, but he accepted it, and he's dealing with the criticism, and so far from what I've seen, he's been gracious. And then there's just like some random people who I don't know. So I was, you know, trying to make sure I gave Doki support because, you know, I'm watching her videos. And then I saw someone else had a take. YouTube suggested somebody else who had a take. And they're talking about this drama. And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, False. I miss False. I'm glad that he's doing whatever he wants to do now and is successful, and I'm glad that he left when he wanted to leave, right? Most people feel like they can't stop what they're doing. They have to keep going, and that's something that it's good, especially the OGs, to be able to retire at their own pay, like to retire on their own thing, like to not be forced out because of drama or some bullshit, but to be like, I choose to not do this anymore. So anyway, and so I saw this random VTuber who's covering the story like it's some VTuber genre. And I'm like, they don't know. It's clear that they don't fuck with rivals. It's clear that they don't know who Aramori is. It's clear that they don't know who Warren is, and they're only paying attention to this because they love Doki. Well, I'm assuming that it's because they love Doki. But even then, I'm like, are you only paying attention to this because because Doki is a VTuber, right? So I'm just kind of like, holy shit. Like, this person, like, I don't think they're not gamers, but I'm just kind of like, I feel like, why the fuck are you talking about this? You don't know shit about what's going on here. Like, not only is this not your thing, like, it's so clear you don't know who these people are. Yeah, I was just kind of like, what? I was just kind of like, I understand people who are the most interesting part about this for most people is going to be the Aramori versus Warren, right? And the part about that that's frustrating to me is like, I'm like, why are we not talking to J3? And God bless Flats, he's already fucking been like, listen, Warren's not going to say anything else. This is over. And I'm just kind of like, cool. But it was just like, everyone else who is involved in this, like Fan said her piece and she's done. Doki was kind of like, bruh, I don't want any parts of this. Leave me alone. And Aramori was like, yeah, I'm pissed and this is why. And we're gonna have to agree to be like, you know, fuck off, Warren. We can't play together for a while. So, it is what it is. And I'm just like, why? Like, everybody else seems to be chill. I'm still mad that Warren dragged everybody else except for. And he probably didn't pick on Jay because he knew, because they have history. And I'm also kind of like, that's where the story is. The story is Warren acting like a fool, J3 calling him out in it, and then Warren blaming everyone except for himself, and also not talking directly, not dealing with J3's criticisms. Right? That's the story. And the fact that there are VTubers out here who are trying to make the awkwardness and discomfort that was going on in the tournament a Doki versus Aramori thing, I was like, why are you here? Did you even watch the tournament? Or you're watching the tournament now and you think that the drama is between these two? Like, yeah, their conversation wasn't great, right? I'm not saying that Aramori was perfect and was super nice to everyone. But I am saying that was not the story. Her, whatever was happening with her and Doki was not the story. The reason that they were having drama is because of Warren. And if your reporting is focusing on Aramori and Doki, your reporting is bad. And maybe you should have done more reporting before you before you made your own 2-hour video. No, Aaron, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Aaron, no. So that is my hot take. And we can talk about that more later. But I was just kind of like, I understand VTuber drama be VTuber drama. This is not VTuber drama. This is Marvel Rivals drama. This is Marvel Rivals toxicity. And you're trying to make it VTuber drama, and it doesn't deserve that. Leave Doki alone. Don't use her for this. Like, I understand she was involved, but she was like a tangential thing because Warren did not keep her name out his mouth. But that was not leave Doki alone. And that is where I will leave that. But anyway, thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow, God. Alright, so we talked about Rivals drama and we talked about... Oh, thank you for the follow! Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to... We can talk a little bit about Marvel Rivals drama. I'll probably talk about Dead by Daylight drama. Talk about the drama. Dead by Daylight. And talk about the toxic fandoms. And then hopefully I will be able to get to gaming. I'm not sure if I'm going to play Read Only Memories and finish out that last piece of it. Or if I'm going to go and play Age of Wonders and start that game. Because I did say I was going to start that game. But we shall see. So until tomorrow, thanks so much for stopping by. Oh yeah, DVD is gonna be funny. Oh man, you think like I'm watching the lad stuff go down, and I'm like, y'all are amateurs. You don't know toxicity. You want toxicity? We got you right here, motherfucker. You don't know what you talking about. Like the poop thing, maybe like that is its own thing. But y'all are too polite. Alright, but for all this time, I need to go to bed. I need to go to bed so I can do my day job, and then so I can come back on and talk some more and hang out, play some video games. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night.